Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Biblio Fitness. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Well, we're not done with the weekend yet, it's only Saturday. But great Thanksgiving. If you are one of those great consumers, hope you had a great time on Black Friday. Even though, Black Friday deals are nothing really crazy compared to a lot of these places already have those sort of discounts. When we talk about retail, especially retail. I used to work in retail. The Black Friday deals are just crap compared to what you can get throughout the course of the year, especially before Black Friday. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. So today I wanted to talk about or give my opinion basically present the question as whether the method of government which is governing, the form of government of the United States, as whether it has reached its logical conclusion given the current political uh, gridlock that has occurred within the past several years in our with our heads of government, our heads of state. I Was it a natural occurrence? Like, was it eventually going to happen? And obviously, nothing is ever set in stone. But I believe that this is a logical conclusion when you allow a binary system of government to flourish, especially with this very long time, because the last the last independent president was Theodore Roosevelt. That's over 100 years ago. Every other person has been Democrat or Republican, and little by little, there is going like it's sooner or later there is going to be a radicalization in the rhetoric between both parties. No one's going to want to give credit to the other, especially when you no longer have the Cold War, especially when you no longer have an existential threat to the level that was the Soviet Union, because obviously we were basically at each other's throats, threatening with nuclear warfare. And it's very interesting because there's so many parallels could be drawn from how the current political situation is compared to how it was in the late Roman Republic, right before Caesar's civil wars and all that. That was A lot of it is really similar. Obviously, nothing's ever the same when we are talking about events or an epoch that happened over 2,000 years ago. Um, quite a few things have changed, but human beings have not. We are still the same. And it was basically the same situation that was going on over there. There was a gridlock between our Timotheus and Populari, but obviously that term was ascribed to these two political factions, and after Gaius, Marius, and Sulla, and obviously it's a lot more complicated than that. You cannot really place it at the same level of solidarity, I guess you could say, along with the Democrats and Republicans, especially now. Democrats and Republicans are super hardcore, and there could be no deviation from the dogmas that have been instilled into their political rhetoric or political philosophy or whatever nowadays. And we all know how that happened in the late Roman Republic. Um, we obviously haven't gone to the level of gangs out on the streets, doing political killings. We don't have a Milos. We don't have a Milos running around. Um, was Milos and who was the other guy? I forgot. Sorry. But yeah, there's no political killings. We obviously haven't gone to those level of extremities. We don't have a military dictatorship, even though we are living under a gerontocracy. Uh, no, Kakistocracy. Yeah, Kakistocracy, which is a government ruled by incompetence, and gerontocracy, which is a company ruled by old people. And those two combinations are absolutely terrible. And like the more think about it, the more parallels can be drawn. The top 1% are accruing more and more wealth. The level of inequality, the gap is continuing to widen to the common man's detriment. There's a lot of political strife. There's a lot of economic anxiety, because we're seeing it. It basically feels like day by day, year by year, our standard of living is continuously decreasing, but our wages are not. The grip is getting tighter and tighter, and it's just because we have a bunch of fucking oligarchs that want to take away all the fucking money, and we're not doing anything. We're not paying attention. We're not paying attention. And the problem I see is like eventually, yes, there was a lot of murders and a lot of prescriptions and a lot of civil wars and a lot of devastation and shit that went on during the civil wars until Augustus came out on top at 31 BC. Uh, but at least there was an Augustus, there was a leading figure. There was the potential of a sort of dynamic figure like that, a political genius, to finally like bring everything together. Well, there was bloodshed, but that is the price that everyone must pay for revolution. There is no revolution without bloodshed. That's why I don't understand leftists that are calling for revolution, but then they want to take guns away. Like, are you retarded or something? Like, how do you think you're gonna pull revolutions off? There is no peaceful revolution. But it just shows that people don't read history. People don't take that into account, and it just boggles me because we can't prevent this. We could have prevented this, but we allowed it to continue to happen. This binary system of you have to pick between Democrats and Republicans. And now we're at a point where we don't vote for an individual. We vote against the other. Like, no one wanted to vote for Joe Biden, for example, because Joe Biden is this great person. Like, no, that guy's a pathological liar, a piece of shit. And he's the reason we can't even default on our fucking student loans. He is not for the people. And a lot of people that voted for Biden didn't vote for Biden. They voted against Trump. And to spite Trump, they vote for Biden, or vice versa. A lot of people maybe didn't want to vote for Biden. I mean, voted for Trump because they didn't want Biden. And the problem is that we are so fucked that we only have 7-year-olds as our as our presidential candidates. If does that not show you the shitstorm that we are walking into, or that we already in, and we are just continuously just standing still and letting all the fucking shit hit on our heads? Look what we have for options. A man that can't even speak without drooling within 5 minutes, and another man that's fucking basically borderline has the fucking intellectual capacity of a fucking sixth grader. Not even, when I'm talking about Trump, of a fucking elementary schooler. And it's fuck, bro. These are our options. Like, where are the capable, mentally capable, astute 50-year-olds? They're nowhere. They're nowhere to be found. And this has just become an oligarch. I keep telling people this is not a democracy anymore. The same lies that they're pulling over our eyes is the same lies they place over the people in the Roman Republic. You think your vote matters. You think, but it doesn't. You have no pull. We don't have any pull in who gets elected. We don't. There's a reason that all these fucking politicians are not only caring about the corporations. There's a reason the Democrats gave up on the unions in the 60s and 70s. There's people that still think the Democrats are for the people, which is bullshit. They gaslight. I'm not Republican either. I hate both parties. I don't like either party. I don't want to be affiliated with either party because neither party cares about me. But back to the original point is whether this was going to be the logical conclusion of allowing this form of government to continue to take place. And I believe it was. Because history says so. History is literally repeating itself, just with different actors and different rules. But it's the same game. And this is what happens. We get into a gridlock where you're not voting for someone, you're voting against another person. That's what you're voting really for. You're voting against an individual, not voting for them. And they know this. They know this. They know that you're gonna vote for them because if not, you got to vote for the other party. And now there's this constant rhetoric between both of them, like the other party is trying to topple the government and is trying to ruin our freedoms and all this shit, which is just fucking hilarious to any person with half a brain realizing what's really going on. There really is no distinction between these two parties, except for like specific moral shit, like the whole Roe v. Wade overturned. Like, I feel like the Republicans definitely underperformed in this recent midterm because of the overturn of Roe versus Wade, because that really polarized quite a bit of people and separated already this very divided country, this extreme country, this very heavily partisan country, where like I was saying in the beginning, like it doesn't matter if it's a good idea. If it came from the other party, we cannot accept it, even if on all chance this shit's gonna solve all our problems. Because that person's wearing another letter that's not yours, it cannot pass. And that was a form of obstructionism by the Optimatists in the late Roman Republic, which basically forced the creation of the first triumvirate between Julius Caesar, Gaius, no, not Gaius, Marcus Crassus, and Pompey, Gnaeus Pompeius. Because there was a gridlock, nothing could be done. Nothing could be done because then, if you allow this shit to transpire, you allow this bill to get passed, or whatever the case may be, then those people that were behind it are gonna get the credit, and you are not. And the personification of this recent development in that form of obstructionism is what was the fucking speaker? McConnell from Kentucky. What did he do with Obama? Nothing is passing with this motherfucker. That's what he was basically saying. Nothing. They gutted everything. They gutted the Obamacare, even though it wasn't really going to be that good to begin with. And good thing that they were they really were stuck in that form of obstructionism, because they denied the grand bargain with Obama in 2011, 2012, which would have easily placed Obama as one of the worst presidents of all fucking time, in league with James Buchanan. Okay, that guy was willing to privatize our fucking Social Security just so he could pass through gay marriage. I don't think that's a fucking fair deal. Unless all you care about is identity politics, which is what the Democrats are doing nowadays. And I feel like people need to wake the fuck up to that. Because like I was saying before, like especially nowadays, like one of the things that really pisses me off is we as a common man, we as the proletariat, whatever term you want to ascribe to the middle class, especially United States, we are so focused. We are like the moral police. We're constantly snitching on each other and constantly checking on each other. Oh, are you saying that? Are you respecting the people's pronouns? Are you doing this and this and this and this? We are so focused on being moral police against each other, right? On things that don't matter, things that don't fucking matter at all, that are not gonna solve our fucking problems. We're focused on that and allowing the rich people to fucking go and allowing these motherfucking aristocrats to steal all the money and do whatever the fuck they want. Because that's what's going on. They gaslight you with these identity politics. They gaslight you with, oh, the equality, we need and police reform and things like that. Let me tell you something. Police reform is not even on the top 10 of the biggest problems we're facing in this country. Do people not fail to realize that that they never talk about economic class issues in the rhetoric? They never talk about class issues. They talk about equality and justice and all of us coming together, but they ain't never gonna talk about boosting wages, are they? No. They're never going to talk about increasing workers' rights or increasing our standard of wages to the standard in order to match the inflation in this country. No, you know why? Because it's going to fuck with their money. It's going to fuck with their corporate sponsors' money. They're never going to do that. The only person that was basically doing it was Bernie Sanders. No one else. They say they're for you, but no one ever talks about these things. No one ever talks about helping us out. None of these fucking politicians are going to talk to you or present some sort of solution to the fact that everything is fucking increasing while our wages are not. While we can't even afford shit anymore. I can't even afford all the supplements I want because everything is even creatine is getting expensive. Can you believe that shit? No one talks about these things. And now, like, we are so thrown out the window. Like, we have become so irrelevant that they are bickering amongst themselves because they don't have any external threat. Just like in Rome. Rome, they fucking wiped out everybody after the Second Punic War. They wiped out everybody. But as soon as they did that and they robbed and they eliminated any existential threat, what happened? They started bickering amongst themselves. They brought that turmoil home. And that's what's going on here in the United States. Like there was always some fight between the Democrats and Republicans, of course, before the end of the Cold War. But at least there was methods of compromise. There was the Great Deal. There was the Great New Deal, the New Deal, not the Great New, the New Deal coalition after Franklin Delano Roosevelt, where Republicans and Democrats were actually able to compromise and put out bills that were socially, that were socially progressive and well, economically progressive, not socially progressive. So socially, the New Deal was actually quite conservative. Um, but there was compromises. There was people from both aisles willing to come together at times to get something through. But once the Soviet Union was put out the picture, they're just like, okay, our only enemies are the people across from us. And this is what happens. Obstructionism. We can't get anything done. And they're not the ones fought because they got their money. They got their shit. They're doing their insider training like Nancy Pelosi. But we're the ones left out in the fucking shit. We're left out in the fucking in the wild, waiting for anything, any help whatsoever. And it just makes me not like the older I get, the more I start to dislike and borderline despise democracy. Because democracy is relying in itself the power of the people, right? That's what demos means, is the authority of the people. So the democracy is only as good as the political competence of the people that are participating in that demos. You go back to Athens, at the pinnacle of democracy, people were actually interested. They were actually politically engaged. They were way more politically engaged than they are now. Like I said, most people are not even noticing that no one cares about their fucking actual issues. Most people don't know that. Most people don't even know about the Washington consensus, that you're basically there's basically only one party in this fucking country. That's the corporate party. And there's two factions, the Republicans and the Democrats. But they basically are after the same fucking thing. There's a thing called the Washington consensus, which is basically made on the neoliberal era: aggressive foreign policy, deregulation, enhancing the security state. They'll bicker on social issues. That's about it. There is no difference. Look at Papi Obama. Everybody had all these high hopes for Obama. I had high hopes for Obama. It was 2008. I was a lot younger and a lot more naive. Well, wait, I couldn't even vote. So I'm talking shit. 2012, I could have voted. Yeah, I forgot. 2012, I could have voted. I just got out of high school. Yeah, it was my first year voting, and I voted for him because I had him. Mitt Romney. There was no way in hell I was going to vote for Mitt Romney. Even I knew back then my naive idea was a corporate hack. But as I got older, I'm realizing, holy shit, this fucking Obama was a corporate hack. And it just shows you how ignorant people are, that people actually bring him onto TV shows and people talk about how great he is and all this shit. How the fuck is this guy great? He promised that people were going to pay for going to the Iraq war. Did anybody go to jail? No. People were going to be punished for the financial crash. Did anybody pay for that? Yeah, we did. The bailouts went to the big to fail companies, not us. And then WikiLeaks leaked it a couple years ago that, guess what? A vast majority of the cabinet, of Obama's cabinet, was handpicked by fucking Goldman Sachs and Citigroup and shit. Bankers. There's no choice. We've gotten to the point where, yes, it's a binary system of government, but I think we're beyond that point. I think they're just bickering amongst themselves over social issues. Like, pay attention to the rhetoric. Pay attention to the discussions. When do they ever talk about economic shit? Actual economics. Not some fucking generalizing crap that's more evasive than anything because they don't want to solidify any answers because they got corporate money coming down. it is an unfortunate, like, you know, like I'm like, bro, where's Augustus? um because, like, dude, it just gets worse. It becomes, people become more incompetent. I really am terrified of the direction of this country because it's already extremely divided, and it's only going to get even more divided. Because I'm pretty sure that the generation after me is going to be more extreme because they have us to look up to, and we are such a shining example of shit. An example of shit. Um, we are focused so much on shit that doesn't even fucking matter. Not realizing that we are fucked. Not realizing that none of these parties care. And all this obstructionism, it's not going to do us any, it's not doing us any favors. And we playing the part of the fucking imbecile zealots on both sides is only exasperating the issues. Us having a moral fucking stick up our ass and being absolutely adamant and partisan, and that if you don't vote for my guy, then we can't be friends and I fucking hate you. You are exasperating the situation. There is not enough political discussions to salvage the situation. There is not any, there's no more political competence, no more intelligence. Like I was just saying, the democracy relies on the authority of the people, relies on the competence and the intelligence of the people that are participating in the fucking state. Our IQ is dropping. It's not getting higher, it's dropping. That means it's going to be a whole lot easier to manipulate us. That means it's going to be a whole lot easier for us to not even understand what the fuck is going on. To realize that this is not a democracy. To realize that your vote doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whoever's going to win is going to win. Period. You know, it's like any form of government. It's like Augustus. It's like Augustus. The veil has to be placed over your eyes so you can remain stupid, you can remain sedated, you can remain docile. Because once the secret is out, then we have serious political problems. Serious political problems. Once the veil is cast. Once the man behind the curtain is revealed. And that's what Augustus was aware. And that's why I really do consider Augustus to be the greatest statesman, the greatest state builder, even though the government he left behind was doomed to fail. Because even when he took power, he wasn't brash with it. He wasn't brazen with it, fucking stomping his foot in front of everybody. Like, I'm the one that runs this shit. It was understood. It was understood. But it was never publicly acknowledged. You know, it was very complicated, but you had to have the political fucking competence in order to pull off what he did, because he was aware that if I, especially in a Roman society where they're very adamantly against monarchy and they find it to be absolutely abhorrent, he knew that it's like, if I place myself in that position, I'm going to garner a lot of enemies. And what's wrong with placating people's egos, stroking their egos, make it feel like they participate when they really don't, and shit like that? They're happier that way. People are happier when they feel like they are actually participating, not knowing everything is predetermined. Like Augustus had like the fucking next 3 to 5 year consulships already wrapped up, ready to go. Like, okay, this guy's gonna go this year, and then this year, and then this year, and then this year. I don't think it's gone to that level here. But it's a tight-knit group of motherfuckers that we can vote for. Third parties no longer have a chance. So once you start really looking into it, once you really start thinking about it, you start realizing we don't really have a choice. There is no choice. The illusion of choice. I feel like I'm in the fucking Matrix now. Like I'm Morpheus or something. But that's an unfortunate situation we can ride to. And unfortunately, because we human beings are flawed, every form of government that we create is and therefore going to be flawed. But democracy sucks. It doesn't suck. It just really does require active participation. It requires active participation. We cannot be this fucking complacent. We cannot be this complacent, just deferring all the responsibilities and decisions and shit like that onto elected officials. You are giving away your life to someone else. I mean, it makes sense because a lot of people are fucking believe in God and all this shit, and they're already used to they're already used to these. They're already used to deferring all their responsibilities and their sorrows onto another person and all their hopes and dreams. So it's not a very difficult part. It's not a very difficult transition from from doing it in a religious context to political context. Because if you look at political zealots, they're just like religious zealots. That R and that D cancels out all voice of reason and logic, just like religion does. I don't know what we can do. Uh, I'm sorry that it's become quite pessimistic. I try to get people to realize that because I feel like once you start doing that, you just start seeing the world for what it is. And I know that once you bite the apple, there is no going back, you know. But I'd rather live knowing that than remain ignorant and remain like a sheep for the rest of my fucking life. Is it an easier life? Yes, but you are never going to be in control. You are never going to know what to do. How are you going to escape the game? How are you going to get out of it if you are in the game? You don't even know that there is a game. You don't even know that you're a fucking NPC in the game. Um, and I wanted to talk about this as well because I've been listening to Thersites the Historian. That's my favorite YouTube channel. Check them out. Absolutely amazing. They do like a presidential deep dive all the way starting from Nixon. I hope they go to other presidents before that. But it's basically, well, no, once you get to Reagan, well, a lot of people could place Jimmy Carter as the first neoliberal president, but Reagan's really the one that really blew that shit up out of the water. Uh, and it just really got me thinking because I've also been reading a lot of Rome, and I got some new Roman books. I got Suetonius, and I got Tacitus that I want to read once I finish some of these Greek books that I have. There are just so many parallels that could be drawn between these two, and that's a genuine cause for concern because we know how the Roman Republic turned out to be. Turned into political dictatorship. And a political dictatorship is not a viable form of government in today's age. It's just not. Unless you're a small country. But a big boy country like this, no. There will be civil war. And whoever has Wyoming wins. Because Wyoming's the one that has all the nukes. Probably going to come back to the discussion later on. I'm sorry I don't really have a conclusion to this. I just wanted to bring it in to light. And hopefully someone realizes and be like, oh shit, I know, because I just don't like the attitude that a lot of people possess nowadays where they're just like, it's not my problem, so who cares? Or we're fucked, so who cares? And that's not the right mentality to have. You know, I don't have the answers, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna just like curl up in a ball in a fetal position and just die and allow people to fucking abuse me. Being aware is the first step. Like, how do you know what to do? How do you know how to circumvent all these situations if you don't even know what's going on? If you get your head out of your ass and take a look around and smell all the shit around you, that it's not all roses. Living life like that, all ignorant, like willfully ignorant, willfully blissed. It's not a good way to live. You're just gonna be fucked the whole time, and then you have no right to complain. You have no right to complain if you're gonna be following that method, that sort of mentality. You have no right to complain about inflation. You have no right to complain that your rent is going up. You have no right to complain that you can't buy what you want anymore because you are willfully being an active participant in your own downfall. I am not taking the sides of these fucking extremists because none of them have actual legit good answers. And I feel like a lot of people say they want equality and they want equality for all and all this shit are not aware of the price they're going to have to pay to get to that point. That's a topic for next time or another time. So hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you have a great time. I'm going to go get back to some reading of the history of the Peloponnesian War. It is quite good. I'm already on book 4. Fuck this city. This is good. That's another thing I want to talk about the Revolution of Corsica. because I read it again, and I'm always getting parallels to the Russian Revolution for some reason. But we're gonna definitely talk about revolutions at some point. Uh, Actually, will probably be the next topic for sure. Till next time, guys. Thanks for listening in, and love y'all. Peace.